haven't been to the movie theaters in a minute, and I feel like A Quiet Place 2 was the right movie to go do my first viewing after such a long time. The amount of suspense when the movie knew how to key in those certain elements of surprise and thrill was great. I loved it. You can literally hear a pin drop if you were paying attention, but I'm pretty sure most people were so focused on the movie you weren't paying attention to the sound of someone eating popcorn because it was that quiet. The movie was pretty well done. I didn't like A Quiet Place Part 1. We'll get into that at the end. I want to say the negatives for the very end. But the movie, we have John Krasinski. He's only in there for the first few minutes trying to do exposition on like a prelogue to what happened, or like a pilot to what happened. But so he's only in there for a little bit, but it's a very important piece as to what happened and why this has happened. We have Emily Blunt. We have Cillian Murphy, he's a pretty big B-list actor. He has a lot of supporting roles. In my opinion, he's a very good actor. And we have the two little shits that, cause a lot of problems. And Dijon, I'm butchering his name, but if you ever seen Never Back Down, he's that black guy that becomes the coach for the main character. But he plays a major role. He's kind of the leader of an oasis, one could presume. Like I said, he's not that big of a deal. I do like how the movie tries to explain how taking risk in survival situations can be beneficial to the group, the overall well-being of the group. You see the little girl, she is constantly trying to provide for her family, but at the same time she's taking huge risks, with the ultimate risk being death. And not only the death of her, like an individual, it also comes down to her risking the lives of her family. So you get a pretty good character arc with her when she decides to leave the family and go on her own. But even still, she needs help. One of the men from the group that was a close friend, his name is Emmett in the movie, he decides to go help her, go find her on her quest to find an oasis after the behest of the mother, while she stays back and protects her family. And I also like how her father's death wasn't in vain, because I know some people, including myself, were like, maybe the father should have lived because he had so much knowledge to give the family so much survival like techniques and stuff. But you see that the father had taught the daughter a lot of stuff that he knew, so she was able to take what she knew and apply it to their survival situations, including reading the maps, including fixing radios and whatnot. She's a very intelligent little girl, and like I said, she goes on her own quest and she does a pretty good job. There's a pretty good outcome of what happens. The little boy though, he's just kind of there, brave. He kind of is like an emotional support character. Emily Blunt, she's literally the glue to the family, trying to keep everything together no matter what happens, keeps pushing the family forward and pushing other people forward and trying to bring out the best in people, even though that shit is pretty freaking bad. But she keeps moving, and she puts the whole team on her back pretty much, and she gets things done. The movie has pretty good reviews across the board. I cannot say that it was a bad movie. There were just, to me, getting into the negatives, the plot holes. As soon as I found out, spoiler alert. So when I found out that aliens could not swim, I was like, so you're telling me the apocalypse happened because these guys can't swim? That is insane. There's so many implications as to why most of humanity could have survived. And according to the beginning of the movie, there was maybe a handful of asteroids, meteorites, whatever you want to call them, that landed. So there's thousands of islands that have human inhabitants on it, and they're not all third world like indigenous tribes or anything like that. They have helicopters, they have means to save people. So I was thinking it was weird that that the apocalypse happened because of that. And then the whole radio situation. There was a song. I'm gonna have to come back when I do the editing and talk about this, but the song was so vague. Why not just say, "Hey, the aliens can't swim. Make your way to a large body of water, and you're good, fam." That's all you gotta do. To playing that vague song. And even still, there were so many boats at the dock. It did not make any sense. It should have been like common knowledge that these things could not swim. But even still, those things, the aliens, they survived in the vacuum of space. So I'm pretty sure, I want to say that once they go into a deep part of water, that they go catatonic because there's so many things going on down there. It's implied that they become catatonic. And then the Dijmanu guy, he died for like the most ridiculous reason. Like, the alien was chasing after the car, and it had a pretty good speed. Like, that thing was chopping. Like, they took off and were going full speed, and this guy thought like the aliens were, you know, leagues behind them, but they only drove for like a minute. So he thinks that, oh, I can go check on my family. Not. He gets yeeted up and killed. But I'm pretty sure the director, John Krasinski, yeah, he did. He's the director of this movie. He did it because they needed the suspense between Reagan and Emmett's character, or Cillian Murphy's character. They needed that suspense without someone that was like unpracticed in survival, because they obviously Dijmanu's character was living in a place where, you know, danger wasn't at a constant threat. They literally had no weapons or anything, no security, no nothing, which is kind of weird because there was people at a dock that could literally sail to the island, because I don't know, light, smoke, whatever they were doing is pretty evident when they have, you know, a group of people over there. So yeah, I always thought it was weird that they didn't have any type of defenses, but I feel like the director, he killed that character off so that they could progress without any like hiccups or any implications to their execution of playing the sound over the radio tower. I really don't have any other complaints. The only things that I would do to make the movie more realistic and more immersive is maybe taking away the music, especially during suspenseful moments, and just keep the focus on the sound itself, and then try to do everything in one shot. That would have been insane if everything was done in one shot. You would actually feel like you're in the movie. Other than that, I would have to give this movie an A. The plot was something I can get past. Like, it was pretty linear, but the whole subplots, the whole story, and how the aliens got there and their weaknesses is just like so far-fetched as to how no one was able to take these things down prior. Like, the whole world fell to these things. But all in all, I had to give this movie an A. I still had a good time, even though I didn't like a couple of the characters, and I didn't like the fact that the world was taken over by these alien their weaknesses. It's kind of like War of the Worlds, when the aliens had no antibodies to fight off our sicknesses and whatnot. But that's actually believable. That's very believable. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, comment what you thought of the movie.